I finally get to unbox and review the TOMY Star Trek Enterprise die-cast Starship. Why, hello, folks. Denobi2 here. Thank you for joining me once again on another visual tour. This is going to be special, I'd like to think. I did help promote, I did help lobby, I did help campaign for the success of the TOMY 1/350 scale diecast ship. So it's here, and this this box looks like it's been looks like it's had better days. Caution: open carefully to avoid damage. You would think, but no. This spoiler alert: this ship arrived in perfect condition. But I was worried. This is gonna. I like to kind of keep these unboxings as live as possible. My surprise is your surprise, folks. So. I forgot about the art box here. This is something that through the whole campaign, as the months went by, they did provide updates, and they did showcase the art box and how much work went into the art box. And I forgot about it. Star Trek universe. Yeah, this implies that we're going to be getting more starships. I doubt it. I don't think we're going to be getting any more. I think this was it. I think that they bit off more than they could chew on this thing. Look, what they were able to produce here by no means. I mean, look, this is a technological marvel. Did they miss a few hits? Yes, they did. Batteries, that's one of them right there. I was under the impression this was going to be a plug and play. I don't know. I could be wrong. I wasn't under the impression this was going to be a USB plug. You folks can correct me. I know a lot of things were said. I had the marketing guy on my live streams here over a year ago. And I even had him twice to promote the TOMY diecast DeLorean. So this is their first Kickstarter. This was a true, very similar to what toy collectors would experience, let's say, through HasLab or Matty Collector. This was TOMY's first foray. And look, I think they did a good job, really. Did they knock it out of the park and then some? No, they didn't. Like, let's start off with the base here. I thought this base was very bland. It lacks spark. It just seems very simple. It's okay. I mean, it does its job, I guess. I just thought that the base was more out there, more three-dimensional. But regardless, I guess it serves its purpose. Underneath, you'll find credits and instructions. And copyright info and locking mechanism there. The one part of the bases is for the actual hull of the ship, and then the other parts for the saucer section. So we'll get to that. This is what I've been waiting for, and I did look. I try to avoid other reviews on YouTube, and I couldn't help myself. I did kind of sneak in a few reviews, and from what I saw, I was very impressed. Right? I did run into a couple rants and disgruntled Star Trek collectors, right? And we'll talk about that. We'll go a little bit deeper into the video. But I got to tell you, my first impression when I lift up the styrofoam container, it was very impressive. Just look at this. Look at the detail in this. You can actually see through the dome. You can actually see the bridge. All you need is a little a jelly bean to represent Kirk. The later years. Spock. This was also a little bit challenging here because this whole box it weighs 46 pounds, and that's what the shipment and everything. That's what the label, what the package label says. But regardless, though, this whole the Enterprise, it's a little over 30 pounds. Like this saucer section here, it's heavy as shit. This thing is like a solid piece of metal. I mean, they promised a die cast. They promised what, 90%? So they earned that check mark. The die cast component is there. Look, TOMY, the company is over 100 years old. They are the masters in die cast. They are the masters in tooling. They are the masters in... Other toy companies hire TOMY when they want to do a specific die cast vehicle, figure, Chogogan, all of that stuff. But when it comes to screw caps, well, let's not ask for a Christmas miracle here, huh? I love this. This part right here where I'm holding the body here is just, I mean, it's heavy. And the one thing I did notice was that the nacelles don't wobble. So I had to put them, you can see I put the saucer and I put the actual ship on the floor just because they're heavy. If this thing falls off the table, I mean, I don't know what'll happen. So I wanted to get rid of all the styrofoam and the paper and just kind of go through it and use the batteries. I love this part right here. This here, the actual array here. This is like everything here is solid metal. The dish, the little satellite dish, the bow of the actual of the body of the ship. It is like, wow. And as I'm holding that, what goes through my head is that, you know, decades ago, I did own the Playmates original Enterprise 1701. So just having finally a high-end collectible model is just, it's bonkers for me right now. We got the little shuttlecrafts here, and got to see that. And then the little certificate of authenticity. USS Enterprise 1701. I'm going to have to frame this certificate of authenticity because I don't think they're going to do any more starships. I think this was such a technological nightmare in the R&D department, just because they bit off more than that they could chew. They promised a lot. They really, really did. They promised like seamless integration with the body. You wouldn't be able to see the caps. And is it a deal breaker? Well, clearly not, since I mean, look, in TOMY's credit, they did send out the email and they did say, look, if you guys, look, we were unable to achieve certain R&D aspects of the ship, and we're giving you essentially an escape clause. They did. Did everybody take the escape clause and get their money back? No, because most Star Trek collectors know that even with the faux pas and the covers, it still is the best deal possible. You have to remember though that the Master Replicas Enterprise, I mean, when that thing came out over a decade ago, it was $1,100 retail. This part here is really cool. I didn't even know that the bottom of the saucer had a little laser beam or a little, what is that? Is that a belly button? Ew. What? It's cool though. I love it. I love getting into the saucer section here. As I'm installing these batteries, I'm trying to figure out how I can USB hack this thing. I will figure out a way how to supply power to the saucer and the actual body of the ship. I'll run a USB cord through like the stern. Maybe, well, I could run a power cord through the shuttle bay. But it's not going to look good. I don't know. I'll figure something out because there's a lot of openings here. This right here, as it's powering up, it's beautiful. I love this. Look, they promised a touch sensor, and they delivered on that, and I do like that. I do. I love that they integrated the touch sensor, and it works flawlessly. The paint application is beautiful on this ship, and even though they ended up with a couple misses, like these screw caps here, it's underneath the saucer, so it doesn't bother me that it's underneath the saucer. I could even use my imagination and pretend they're like a service hatch sort. It wouldn't work as an escape pod though. Like if they did a diecast version, say of like the DS9 Defiant, or even the Voyager ship, even if they did like the Star Trek Voyager ship, and they had the screw caps, you could at least hide them with escape pod panels. But because the Enterprise 1701 is such a bland ship, I mean, it was designed in the 60s, right? For the 3x4 screens for televisions back in the day. It didn't have to have that type of definition. So now we're in an era where us collectors, we expect that level of high definition. And look, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm not giving TOMY any passes at all. I kept the ship because I knew better. I've seen what these things are going for on the secondary market. I'm no fool. Yeah, they swung and they missed a few balls, but for the most part, on a scale from 1 to 10, they still got a 7.5, maybe even closer to an 8. This thing is the shit. It really is. Now, I did notice that I didn't properly screw in the front of the ship with the saucer section there. Not with the saucer, with the dish. And I did go back and correct it. I just didn't notice it at the time.
That is awesome.
The touch sensor there to work in the cells it's awesome.
Sounds like the engine is purring.
And it hums. It hums very low. And it sounds like an engine. It's really cool. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite parts. But of course, here we go. The infamous starboard section of the Enterprise. I wish this is the only part of this project here that just it's a little bit annoying. It's not a deal breaker. I don't mind the screw caps underneath the saucer. I don't even give a shit about the seams. To me, it's an old vessel style Starfleet ship. I can use my I can eat even that seam in the middle. Yeah, that doesn't bother me one bit. Even the seams on the nacelles, they don't bother me. They really, really don't. The only thing that me personally, I would give it an X on a scorecard. It would be the caps on the starboard side of the ship. Yeah. So as collectors, we're definitely going to be displaying it with the port side, just because it looks more beautiful. It's nonetheless though, it is like the paint on this is phenomenal. And you have to factor in what you're getting: die cast, the mold, the electronics, the touch sensor, the saucer separation, all of this for $600. Remember, Master Replicas had an Enterprise of this scale that was released back in 2006 and 7. They were asking $1,100, and those ships have not they haven't aged gracefully. The nacelles warp. I mean, majority of it was plastic. It's a plastic ship. The fact that TOMY decided to take a crack at this, they do get my applause. They do get my thanks. But look, this whole project clearly spooked the shit out of them. I mean, for crying out loud, their next Kickstarter HasLab project, they ran to what they know: die-cast automobiles. TOMY is the leader in die-cast cars, vehicles. That is their jam. That is their shit. Of course it is. All the screws are underneath the vehicle. The fact that you have a three-dimensional starship in space where you want to get that view all around 360, yeah, that's something that is clearly a challenge for them. I love the shuttles in the bay right there. I love that. I got that close-up specifically just to show you the attention to detail on this thing. Yeah. Yeah, I will be shocked if they ever do another Starship. I think this... Plus, it was delayed. I mean, this thing was scheduled to hit the collectors, August? And it just kept getting delayed, and they kept running into R&D mishaps, and at least they were nice about it. Like, for example, like the shuttlecraft there. Like, what's all that about? It looks like it went through a transporter accident. Like, why does it look like it was two parts? Why couldn't you just molded it in one? I don't understand that. Poor shuttlecrafts. They've had better days. Like the seam right here, which I would assume a lot of collectors probably, had a hissy fit over. This doesn't bother me. That's, to me, I would assume it's just normal. It's just like a standard construction of an old Starfleet vessel and the technology. So that doesn't bother me. Again, it's just for me, the only X I would give this would be the screw caps on the starboard side. But then the cells, I mean, they look gorgeous. The way they spin, the actual light effect, the weathering on this thing. I mean, they tried. And at least they didn't deny it. They did confess that they kind of botched a couple aspects of the R&D. I mean, is it a really bad botched job? Look, to me it's gorgeous. It's a shame though, because I know we'll never get a Star Trek, a Starship Voyager, or the Defiant from Deep Space Nine. I've already been burnt with the Enterprise D from Eagle Moss. I'm not crossing that bridge again. These night shots, I will say that in the dark, it's beautiful. This right here is just awesome. Yes, you do have to use a little bit of movie magic, a little bit of a composite in with the lights and so forth, and you can definitely acquire some really cool stellar looks. This shot right here with where it's like facing a wormhole, I thought this was really, really cool. It's a beautiful ship. I mean, for you folks out there that were skeptical in backing it, for you folks out there that ended up backing it and are probably happy or may not be happy, overall, I'm impressed. I mean, this was also a small batch too. I think I calculated, I think they only ended up making a run of, what, 4,500 units? This was an experiment. I mean, this is what the guy said. Or was it Chris? I think his name was Chris. This was something that they really wanted to go in and figure out if they could make something of this grand, instead of asking themselves if they should. Yeah, they kept asking themselves if they could instead of asking themselves again, should you? I mean, they're keen in making vehicles. I tell you what, though, the DeLorean, TOMY DeLorean, oh, it's going to be A+ all the way. That's their jam. That's their comfort zone. I love how it's just lit up inside the bridge there. I think that's just gorgeous. Think about it. They launched with a starship. They kind of hinted that they were going to do other potential starships, and they got their asses kicked in R&D, and then the next Kickstarter they announce is a vehicle, a car. And not just a car, it's the DeLorean, which I love the DeLorean. I'm a DeLorean fan, but it's the Mark 1. It's not even my favorite. It's not even the Mark 2 that flies. But look, they will get a B-. I'm going to give them a B-. I love this. It looks great. It's beautiful in the dark. To me, they messed up on the starboard screws and the power management. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be supporting the saucer section, because it seems to be holding it. This one photo here, you can kind of see I have the weight right on it, and other than it rocks back and forth, I think it looks better. I don't really want to give that saucer section support if I don't have to. Is it going to bite me in the ass in the future? Maybe. But it looks fantastic. I'm happy. I really am. This was, I mean, shit. What were the other options? Playmobil? I have the Playmobil. That's just a big toy. Thanks for watching, folks.